Welcome back, guys. I'm Gary with Automatic Door and Hardware. We are a manufacturer of commercial doors, automatic doors, and the parts and hardware that go with those doors. If you like learning about doors and hardware, then you've come to the right place. Each day we produce 2 or 3 videos related to this. So if this interests you guys, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Okay guys, so now for our topic. In today's video, we're going to be explaining in detail how to install a commercial handicap door opener. And for the sake of this video, we'll be explaining specifically how to install our Commander low energy automatic swing door opener with an outswing push arm assembly. Okay guys, so the first step is we actually need to remove the motor drive assembly from the back plate. And with the Commander swing door opener unit, the motor drive assembly is what we call the motor, the gearbox, and the control board, all on one plate, and that's attached to a back plate. Now it's held onto the back plate by 4 Allen screws. So what you want to do is get a 5mm Allen wrench and remove those 4 screws so that all you're left with is that back plate. Okay guys, so the next step is we need to mount that back plate onto the top of the door frame. And with any type of automatic swing door operator, these door openers are always mounted top jam, meaning the door opener itself is designed to mount to the door frame head or the top portion of that door frame. So with the Commander swing door opener unit with an outswing push arm assembly, it's designed to be mounted at the top of the door frame, but on the push side of the door. So be sure to hold up the mounting plate and line it up flush with the bottom of the door frame head. And there should also be an 1.5 inch overhang on each end of the door opener back plate. Now that door opener back plate is pre-drilled, so using the appropriate fasteners, typically we use some sort of self-tapping screws to attach that back plate to that door frame head. Be sure you have enough fasteners in that back plate so that it is firmly attached, because this back plate will be supporting the weight of the drive unit assembly. Okay, so once that back plate is attached securely to the top of the door frame head, the next step is to reinstall that drive unit assembly back onto the back plate using those 4 Allen screws we removed earlier. Now with the Commander drive unit assembly, on the back of that drive unit assembly is actually a special key slot, and if you look at the back plate of the Commander door opener, you'll see that in the center there's an alignment screw. That alignment screw is designed to slide into that key slot on the back of the drive unit assembly, and what this does is it ensures that the drive unit assembly is in the proper position on the back plate. So line that up and then attach re-secure the 4 Allen screws. With that being said too, it's also worth mentioning that when you're facing and looking at the Commander drive unit assembly on the back plate, the control box side, the side with the input-output board, should always be towards the hinge side of the jamb. If it's on the opposite side, then you've placed the drive unit assembly in upside down. Okay guys, so the next part of the installation is we need to set up that outswing push arm assembly for installation. And to do that, we have to first determine what the reveal is on the door. So reveal is the distance from the face of the door to the face of the frame. Now, commercial doors a lot of times vary in the door frames, especially when it comes to steel door frames. Standard steel door frames are typically a 5 3/4 inch jamb depth. However, there are larger door frames for special applications where you could have an 8 1/4 inch jamb depth, or even larger if it's a customized door frame. So you got to be sure to measure from the face of the door to the face of the door frame. And how it works is the Commander swing door opener push arm assembly is really comprised of 3 main arm components. The first arm component is the door shoe, and that's the portion that attaches to the door. The second portion of the door arm is actually a two-piece arm tube assembly, which is known as the telescoping arm assembly. And that arm assembly is designed so that one part of the tube arm slides into the other part of the tube arm assembly and is completely adjustable so that you can adjust the length for different reveals. And the third component of the arm assembly is what we call the main arm assembly, and that's the portion of the arm assembly that actually attaches with the spindle to the motor gearbox assembly. So how it works is we actually recommend laying out the arm assembly on a flat surface or table and first measure the reveal on your door application. So with a 0-inch reveal, you're going to want to adjust the telescoping arm assembly such that it is about 13 inches in length. Now, as the reveal increases, the length of the telescoping arm must be adjusted to an increased increment of 1 inch. So what I mean by that is, if you have 0-inch reveal, the telescoping arm length would be 13 inches. If you have a 1-inch reveal, you would increase the length of that arm by another inch, so it'd be 14 inches. If you have a 2-inch reveal, the telescoping arm would be 15 inches. And with the standard Commander swing door opener push arm assembly, you can handle a reveal for anywhere from 0 inches all the way up to 8 inches. Anything past an 8-inch reveal will require an arm extension. It can be done, but you would just need a special arm extension for such a large reveal. So 0-inch reveal would indicate 13 inches in the telescoping arm length, while an 8-inch reveal would indicate up to about a 21-inch length telescoping arm length. Okay guys, so once you know your reveal and you have the arm components laid out on a flat surface, the next step is to actually slide in the portion of the telescopic arm to the appropriate arm length so that it meets the appropriate reveal for your door application. But when you do that, be sure you don't screw or fasten down the arm assemblies together. We do not want to join the telescopic arm and the main arm assembly yet. Instead, we want to adjust it to the appropriate reveal and mark it with a pencil. We won't actually join the arm assemblies together until later on. Okay guys, so the next step is we want to attach the arm assembly to the door opener drive unit assembly. So how we do that is you need to first identify the main arm assembly, or the portion of the arm assembly with the arm spindle, and that is designed to mount to the bottom of the gearbox. However, before you mount it, what you want to do is you actually want to mount it so that when you attach that main arm assembly, it's 20 degrees past perpendicular to the door opener. So when you're looking at the door opener head on, the arm assembly should be mounted about 20 degrees past perpendicular. And what that's doing is that's actually going to allow us to preload the spring inside of the motor gearbox assembly. And when we say the 20 degrees past perpendicular, the arm should always be attached 20 degrees at an angle, but towards the closing swing of the door, or the hinge side of the door, the hinge jamb side of the door. So once that's attached, fasten down the arm spindle, attach it so the main arm assembly is now hanging off the motor gearbox assembly. And the next step is we need to actually mount the telescoping arm and door shoe assembly. So how that works is, what you want to do is when the door's in the full close position, you want to measure 13.5 inches from the inside of the door frame to the center of the door. So from the inside of the door frame, 13.5 inches over, somewhere towards the center of the door, is where you're going to mount the door shoe. So once you mount that door shoe and it's fastened securely to the door, what you're going to do is you're then going to grab on to the main arm assembly, and remember, it's preloaded, so it's not quite preloaded yet. It's not until you push it over, but you're going to be pushing it over and winding that spring. So push it over. It will be a little bit difficult, and go ahead and slide in the arm assembly into the tube of the other arm, and line it up such that it is even with that pencil mark you made earlier. Once it is at the proper alignment, you're going to want to fasten the arm screws down to hold the arm into position. Okay guys, so the next step is we need to connect the main power to the commander door opener unit. So the commander door opener unit, utilizes 110 volts, just your standard voltage in a wall outlet. You need to connect the line voltage to the black wire. It should be labeled L for line, and then neutral is the white wire, and then green is obviously the ground. But when you do connect power, be sure that the door opener is in the off position, as we do not want it turning on once power is connected. Okay guys, so now we're ready for the initial setup, or what we like to call the learn cycle. And what this is it's a way that the door opener will actually automatically adjust its parameters for the appropriate door size or weight. And it measures this through opening and closing the door on its own through what we call the learn cycle. So when this occurs, you're going to want to make sure that there are no obstructions in the path of the swing of the door, no obstacles, nothing like that. And as it does the learn cycle, you're going to want to make sure that the door is not stopped or manually pushed open or any sort of interference. If this does occur, you're going to have to restart the learn cycle. So to do this, what you're going to need to do is first power on the door opener. Once it's powered on, you need to identify the SW1 push button switch that's located on the door control. Press that switch in for about 5 seconds. And after about 5 seconds, you'll notice that LD2 or LED2 will flash rapidly, and that's a red LED. So you'll see a red LED flashing rapidly. Once that occurs, release SW1 or the push button switch. And the door will begin to go into a learn cycle. So when it goes into a learn cycle, the door will actually fully open, then close, then partially open, and then close, and then full open again. And once the learn cycle is complete, the door will close, and you will be able to operate the door with your activation buttons. So we'll do another video on how to wire the activation buttons or touchless activation buttons, but assuming that you have those wired into the door opener, you can press the activation button to trigger the door to open. And it's always good that even though it automatically measured the doorway and adjusted the parameters like the opening speed and closing speed, it's always good that you verify those adjustments, and if need be, adjust them so that they do meet your requirements.